former King and longtime NBA player, now a scout with the Atlanta Hawks. It's our pleasure to welcome in Beno Udrih. Beno, how are you this afternoon, man?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Doing well. As a scout, I'm sure you got an eye on the summer league. How much, we were just talking before the break about, how much we can take away from watching these games. How much as a scout do you take away from these summer league games?
I mean, a little bit, depends on the games, who's playing, but it's very hard to figure out how to scout because you never know when the team's going to start pulling, players that are actually on the roster, NBA roster already, when they're going to start pulling them out. So then the games kind of turn into a different, not like an NBA game, So, but yeah, it's fun to watch.
Beno, there are very few people in this world, having been born in another country, played basketball professionally outside of the U.S., and then be drafted to the NBA and have a sustained career like yourself, who played, 13, 14 seasons, I believe. Speak to the task at hand that Victor Wembanyama is really going through right now in his first few weeks of the NBA pro.
I mean, yeah, it's not an easy task, but, if you're willing to work at your game and, willing to listen and willing to grow, anything is possible. So, and I heard Victor is really a true pro. So he's already ready. I mean, he was playing pro overseas. He was preparing himself to be on this stage for a very long time. So I think, the future is very, very, very bright for him.
And the Kings have their own guy who's coming from overseas this year, EuroLeague MVP Sasha Vezenkov. What was the bigger adjustment for you, the game and the difference from European basketball, or was it off court life and getting used to life here in America?
Yeah, it was a lot easier to adjust to the game because the game, is just faster and it's a lot more open space. But yeah, lifestyle, it was different, because when I was growing up, we were practicing twice a day. So pretty much every day was basketball and basketball alone, And here, when you have practice, you have then the whole afternoon after the practice. If there's no game in the evening, you have the whole afternoon for yourself. So you can do whatever you want, So that was a little adjustment. But, even that was, at the end worked out fine for me. So
yeah, definitely. Beno, in our conversations that I've had with you, one of the things that definitely touched me about you, man, is the love of basketball that you have. It definitely shined through immensely, man. I must say that. The second thing that stuck with me with that conversation was how you told me going to a top flight organization like the Spurs really set your basketball professional career over here in the States, and how much it really meant to you having jumped around here to Sacramento and Miami and different places throughout that. I mean, how much does that really, really matter, the organization setting up for a player's development in their future to you?
I mean, I think it's huge. Just the organization, when you feel like you want it and you feel like they have a confidence in you and that they have support. Players at the end of the day are human beings, people like to look at them differently, because they're so athletic and they're really, really good at something, But at the end of the day, players have feelings, they see things, they hear things, and that can have a big effect on development of players as well, So, it's huge in what organization, and it's crazy too. You would think, the NBA is pretty, every team is similar. I'll tell you now, every team is different. So every team does it differently. I mean, they have little things that do the same, but every team wants to have something on their own, So it's just how it is. I guess every company does things differently as well, not just NBA and basketball, anything.
Do you feel like we have just one season and you're on the outside looking in, but still in the league? And I'm sure you talk to people was last year more than just one good season for the Kings? Do you feel like they got this thing on the right track and they have some of those qualities that you were talking about?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, first hiring Mike Brown was a really, really good, thing for them. I mean, I play against Mike Brown, and I heard things about him, and he's like on point. There's no double standards, and in basketball, you can't have double standards. You got to treat everybody the same. Like, if somebody makes a mistake, you got to try to teach. And he did a really good job, put the Kings back on track, and I think we're gonna be watching Kings in the playoffs, for quite a while now.
Beno, man, speak to this is something I always love to ask guys like yourself, real hard nosed, go get it, don't care who's in front of you. Like, who do you enjoy watching in the league right now? Because I know you love basketball, big man. I know you watch it. Of course, you got to scout it. But like, who do you really enjoy? Sit down and take your job away from it. Who do you really like watching right now?
Well, Luka Doncic is not a bad player to watch. Right?
Okay.
No, but like I like to watch when I see a player that it's moving very efficiently, like no wasted movements and stuff. And I think Devin Booker is one of those players. So I love to watch. He knows where his spots are. He gets to them efficiently, and that's why he's so hard to guard. And that's why he's so efficient. So he's like that one player that I really like to watch. And, we could go down the list, but like he's one of the guys, And, who was that? That was Bradley Beal was one of those guys too, but, he's been having injuries lately, so didn't get to watch him so much.
And now those two guys together in Phoenix, that might be dangerous when you team them up with Kevin Durant, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's right, Kevin Durant.
It's hard to keep up with all of it.
It is.
It can be hard to keep up with all of it. That's Beno Udrih, scout for the Atlanta Hawks, former King, longtime NBA player, and our guest for the last few minutes. Really appreciate the time and the insight, Beno. Thanks a lot, man.
No, thank you, guys.
And he joins us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. That shows you how hard all these NBA moves are.
It's too much going on.
This man is in the league. It's like, oh yeah, Kevin Durant is on the Suns. That makes me feel better because that happens to me all the time.
All the time.
Where I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's on that team now, huh?
Have you ever sat down with someone that works for a team and off season is going on, right? And you're having a conversation like, hey man, what do you think about? We didn't get that person. Oh, we did get that person. Have you ever had that conversation with someone?
Yes,
it's interesting. Like, these dudes are so locked in on what they have to do in their job. It's like, oh, you know what? I don't even worry about off season. That's the GM. That's the, whatever. I'm working with my 5 guys. I'm pitching to these guys.
Right.
Or, I'm working with the jump shotter. We're in Arizona working in the desert, 7-on-7 passing league or whatever. And, oh, you know what we did? Oh, man, I can't believe that.
Yep.
Cats be locked in.
Yeah, but that just shows you like they can get lost in the sauce just like we can.
Of
You know what I
course.
mean? With all this movement that goes on in the sports world today.